Hello and welcome to you all. My name is Vishal and this is our cohort for strategy management. We study how to create strategies for your organization, and we study, what does it mean when you're creating a strategy, and of course what kind of pitfalls you will be having when you are creating a strategy. And it's not enough just to have the strategy on board. How do you measure that strategy is also another important part. And we these are live sessions that we do every every Sunday. So sometimes we replay the recording for the simple reason that we have to. Life happens, and we do our stuff during the day, and at times we have to actually go and do something else. And so, as far as the business strategy is concerned, it's a lot goes into. First, you define what kind of business you want to do as a management. Every organization out there that is being run today, it is for a purpose. Somebody is doing for financial independence, somebody is doing for the society, somebody is doing it for you will usually find that in their mission statement. What are they doing it? What are they doing? Why they are forming that organization. Now, once you have formed that organization, it doesn't end there. You will have a strategy. You need to make sure that your organization is running. You need to make sure that your organization is able to produce that much of revenue that it can sustain itself. Plus, it's meeting the requirement of your mission, vision, and value, what you have stated in the first place. So, how do you measure that? There is something called in the industry which has been very much being used for quite a long time. It's called the balance scorecard. So it's this balance scorecard by which you measure your strategy. How effective is your strategy? And the balanced scorecard is nothing else. It's just a numerical representation of the aspiration of the organization, of the goals of the organization, split into easy to understand and remember parts. In other words, if I want to start throwing jargons out there, it would be like your KPIs, which is driven by your KRA, and so on and so forth. So our speaker and our co-host, Mr. Gopal, he is pioneered in this field of work. He has he's a consultant himself, been a consultant for quite a long time, and more than 30 years of experience in strategy management and strategy formation, execution, and of course monitoring of it. So he's the one who is mentoring us throughout this journey. He has gracefully agreed to guide us through, and we have already done 7 sessions, live sessions. This is the 8th session. He very recently released a book as well on strategy, and that book is completely written in a way as a handbook. So if you need anything, if you have, it's like a handbook, like an NFPA. You have a collection of codes and standards. You can simply go to the NFPA book, okay, and you can decode and standard, and you can find out what is required, just in case if I have to do a fire alarm system, or I have to do for that matter, and sprinkler system. Okay, so in a while we just would be starting in a while, and Mr. Gopal is with us. I'm just waiting for him to share his screen and unmute himself on the Zoom sessions that we are at. So you are live. You can go ahead, and here you go. Mr. Gopal, can you hear me? Goodness sakes.
Give me a second. Good morning, everyone.
Okay. Here you go.
I'm just locating my presentation.
Give us a minute. So last time we discussed about the strategy formation, and we touched upon just touched upon the scorecard a bit. I'm a big fan of the scorecard. It takes a lot of effort in an organization, especially an organization that is successfully running, to come to formulate it, and then it takes a lot of effort to monitor it, and it takes a lot of effort as well to make sure that people are providing, because it's a data driven thing, people are providing those information so that so that everything can be tracked on this scorecard. Any success, sir?
Okay.
Okay, found it.
Yes. I'll just share the screen.
So just to let you know that we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We are live on the YouTube of mine as well as book club, and of course Mr. Gopal's as well. And the LinkedIn is my LinkedIn profile where we are live. So give us just a bit. The presentation is coming online.
Okay, you are able to see my screen?
Yes, we are able to see your screen, sir.
Okay, let me go. How, I'm stuck with this. I want to go full screen. Michelle, can you help? Huh? Sorry, 1 second. Something wrong today. Okay, so last time we looked at a simple, you are able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay, so in the last session, what we looked at a very simple example to explain the concept of balanced scorecard. And to give an idea that what balance scorecard is all about and how simple it is as a concept. Of course, depending on the size of the organization and the complexity of the business, the implementation may take time, but it's a simple, logical framework which was developed by Drs. Kaplan and Norton. That was in early 90s, and since then it has been used for by thousands of organizations worldwide, and there's enough research on this tool for its utility and usefulness in successful strategy of the execution. So before we have the execution part, we need to have the right kind of a strategy for a business based on the business and based on the business environment in which that entity or business entity is operating, right? So we will be now going a little deep into how to develop this strategy, because that's the starting point. We need to have this strategy in order to execute it. And I'll share with you some frameworks which are used for developing this strategy and what it takes for developing this strategy, the whole process we will be looking at. And then we will be going into how organizations typically develop this strategy. So going ahead with this, I'll just put a quote that people and their managers are working so hard to be sure that things are done right that they hardly have time to decide if they are doing the right thing. Right? So things are doing right means your operations, because you just want to make sure that things are done in the right way. And doing the right things is that choosing what to do and what not to do, and that actually reflects on the strategy. So the majority of the businesses are busy doing things, but they don't know whether they are doing the right things. If they don't have the strategy in place, if they don't decide in advance that what they are going to do, what is right for their organizations and for their customers, they will be doing things just without knowing whether it is really helping the business or helping the customer. So it is important to have the right strategy and then executing it properly. So it all starts with having a strategy first. I'm not able to go to full screen my presentation. I don't know why. Okay. Anyway,
I think we can manage that way. Or if you can simply
yeah,
press F5 on your keypad, it will also take you to the full screen.
F5. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, it's something or other. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vishal.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, so defining this strategy, there are hundreds of definitions of strategy, that what is the strategy is all about, right? So The simple definition I put forward, or rather, it is a combination of multiple definitions. A strategy is an integrated set of choices that position a firm in an industry to earn superior returns over the long run. Right. So going deep into it, or just little bit explaining you the whole concept of a strategy is, one is that a strategy is not standalone actions. These are strategies supposed to be an integrated set of choices. Integrated means you have to choose your actions or choices in a way that they work together towards the success of the organization. Or in other ways, that to position a firm in an industry, and a strategy is specific to a company and an organization or a firm in a specific industry. That specific firm is not everywhere. It is working in a specific industry, right? So to earn a superior return. Superior return means you should be able to beat the competition over a long run. So a strategy is always long-term basis. It is number of choices, number of actions you need to take. And these are all integrated. They are all aimed towards a common goal to position a firm to beat the competition. That's a simple definition. If you translate that, what is given here, this is what exactly it is. And according to Bain and Management Tools and McKinsey, 88% of the organizations claim to conduct a formal strategy planning and enjoys highest user satisfaction. So 88% of, and this was the latest findings, I think it's in 2022 they did the service. So 88% of the organization, they do the strategy planning, and then it has got the highest user satisfaction. I think user satisfaction is close to 60%, right? And then the problem is that only 45% of the respondents were satisfied with the process. They do it, but they are not satisfied. And only 23% of the major decisions are based on the strategy, what they decide. So the problem is that they do the strategy planning, 88% of the organizations they do, but only 45% of the respondents, they accepted that they were happy with it. And only 23% believed that their organization major decisions are based on the chosen strategy. So this is where the disconnect is. 88% people are using it, but then they are not happy either with the process, or they are not using that strategy for taking key decisions. So the problem is of implementation, because 88% of the people are doing it, but then they are not making use of it. So if you look at the strategy, there are three tests of good strategy, because the strategy is based on the external environment. So external consistency has to be there, that it should be based on the external environment, in line with what customer is looking for, what your competition is doing, what your economic environment in the country or territory where you are operating. So all that need to be taken into account, and strategy should be consistent with the business environment. Then second one is internal consistency. Internal consistency means that your strategy needs to be based on what kind of capabilities, resources you have, and competencies you have, what kind of people you have, what kind of infrastructure you have. You cannot have a strategy, successful strategy, if you don't have your internal capabilities aligned to what you're trying to achieve through your strategy. So internal consistency is important. And third one is dynamic consistency. Dynamic consistency means you should be able to adjust your strategy based on changes in the external environment or business environment and your internal environment. If there are any changes in your internal work culture or your capabilities or your expansion production plants or anything which is internal to the organization. So it needs to be able to be balanced dynamically based on the changes in the scenarios, whether they are external or internal. So that is what we talk about as dynamic consistency. So a good strategy
with the clients. They are the one actually who are talking to the client. They are the one actually who are interacting with the clients. So it came up that the strategy needs to be refined, defined, and adjusted every time. With people not only from the top of the pyramid but also considering people at the bottom of the pyramid, and everybody in this full pyramid speak strategy in a different way. The management, they would speak strategy in with a clear defined way. The middle management may define that into actionable, whereas the bottom in the pyramid, the most team member level people, they usually give a feedback on a strategy in terms of complaints. So complaints usually are looked at in every culture for that matter, is looked at as somebody is not very happy, and it actually you are able to glean a lot of information once a complaint comes to you within the organization. And if you see the repetition of that complaint, okay, you can find out that yes, there is a strategy gap. Yes, there is something a gap out there. I will just give you a very small example. There was this organization in the era of 1990s and all, when the software industry came into being. I mean, software was being written left, right, and center. People have this ability with the help of Visual Basic. They can write their own program. I myself was very happy that I can create a Windows program, and with a click of button, and it gives you a pop-up of saying "Hello World." So it was very fascinating. Visual Basic has actually done that for many people. So there was this software developed by the organization, and in that, the click levels, the click on your mouse that you have to do, they were too many. And there is some syndrome called carpal syndrome or something like that. One of the employee got in the US got affected by that. He was complaining time and again. He was complaining to the HSE, he was complaining to the computer people that they are too much in this form of the Excel or of the computer, of the application that you're running. I have to enter the same information like 100 times. Why, if it's a computer, I just enter one time and it should go and reflect everywhere. So it was a complaint. So if you see from the strategy perspective, it was a feedback that you're putting your employee man hours too much into the work, whereas since you're using computer, your work should be easy. As far as the QHSC people are concerned, I will go one step ahead. For them, it was a near miss incidents every time he was doing those too many clicks, and apparently this guy got that. I think it's called some carpal syndrome. What happens is your fingers and your they don't have enough strength to work on the computer clicks and all, and they got sued. And US being US, they had to pay compensation. So it was a lesson for not only for the strategy management people, the operations people, the software people, and as well as the QHC people. I just thought I will just bring this thing in here because that seemed to be an important part to give a perspective of how strategy development and refining and redevelopment actually works. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because anything happening which can impact the business. In your the incident that you have narrated, actually it can finally it had financial implications on the organization, right? So the moment you see any sign of any changes, it can be employees' behavior, it can be your competitors' behavior or competitors' strategy. It can be simply, let's say, recession coming in, or we had COVID situation. Nobody anticipated it, but many of the organizations, they were not prepared for it, and that is why they were, not very successful, or rather, they were affected greatly due to those kind of pandemic situation and sometime other factor.
Yeah,
So
just
this is
wanted,
important. Yes.
yeah,
Sorry.
just wanted to remind that we are just we have done with the time of allocation today. If you want to wrap up.
Okay, so what we will do is, I think we will stop it here because that's the good place. What we did is we, of course, in the earlier few sessions, we just introduced the concept of balance scorecard and the strategy framework and all that. And with an example, I think I explained in the simple terms. But here now, when we are looking at is we are looking at the whole process. And the first process, as I said earlier in this session, the first action is that we need to have this strategy in place in order to implement this strategy. To have this strategy, we need to develop this strategy because it's not something that somebody writes a prescription and you can just go and buy it. You need to develop it. Even if you are outsourcing it, you need to be with the team. Maybe you people who are developing the strategy, they will be taking inputs from you and developing the strategy. So there are a number of consultants there who are there who help organizations in developing this. But it is very, very important that you are involved in it and then you participate in development of the strategy. The whole process, you should be party to it. So we'll stop it here and then we will relook at this. This is a high level, strategy development process. And then next week we will cover that and then we will take it from there. Thank you very much for attending and have a great day.
Thank you. I just want to remind everybody about the book Mr. Gopal has published. Couple of it was on the 30th November. You can see on your screen. It's available in the Amazon's India, the India store in Kindle as well, and the hardcover is also available.
It's available now. Sorry, Vishal. It's available on Amazon.com also now.
Okay, so it's gone global now.
Yeah, it's gone global.
Okay, wonderful. Congratulations, sir. You are an international writer now.
Thank you.
So the book has, like you see on the screen, it has 5 sections. The key concepts, which is more or less like definitions, and then the framework. Of course, the framework in which the framework defines what it is. It's the frame within you need to work. In the other words, I mean, it tells you what to do, how to do, and the models for strategy planning. Then the development, how you need to do it, design and implementation, alignments and cascading of the BSC, that is the balance scorecard. Very important if you have a business running and if you want to measure your strategy. Your strategy is measure is not always with your balance sheet. You're making good profit. It depends rather. It depends rather on like we just discussed a couple of seconds ago. How your strategy, if it depends on why the organization was set up. So if that is the goal of the organization, just to make money for the owners, that's a different thing altogether. Strategy maps and BSC for support functions and BSC for non-profit organization, triple bottom line consideration. So so you have all the tools and techniques and the framework in the book, and I encourage you that you take some time. I think if you in Kindle, you have the liberty to actually flip through the book as well and read through it. I'm pretty sure you will not find anything similar on anywhere else. Okay, with that we come to the end of our session today. You have been a very awesome audience. We have got very good attendance as far as on our social media is concerned. We were live on not only in LinkedIn today, we were live on as well on YouTube. We are live on 2 places in YouTube. One is the book club YouTube, and the second is the YouTube of Mr. Gopal as well. Okay, up until next week, take good care of yourself. Thank you very much for joining today. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. Bye-bye.